January 28, 1986. Cape Canaveral, Florida. The sky is clear. The temperature is not. 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Ice hangs from the launch pad, but millions are watching. This mission is called STS-51L. The spacecraft is Challenger, NASA's 25th shuttle mission. Its goals are ambitious. Deploy the TDRS-B communications satellite conduct experiments in fluid physics, observe Halley's Comet, and send the first civilian teacher into space. The teacher is Krista McAuliffe. She had told reporters, "I touch the future, I teach." President Reagan planned to reference the mission in his State of the Union address that night. NASA needed this launch to succeed. The Space Shuttle had been marketed as reusable, routine, safe. Delays had already stacked up. The pressure was subtle, but real. Inside Challenger sat 7 astronauts: Commander Francis R. Scobie, pilot Michael J. Smith, mission specialists Judith Resnick, Ronald McNair, Ellison Onizuka, payload specialist Gregory Jarvis, and Krista McAuliffe. They trusted the system. But 14 hours before liftoff, something happened. The solid rocket boosters were built by Morton Thiokol. Morton Thiokol was an aerospace contractor responsible for designing and manufacturing the boosters. Inside those boosters were field joints. Inside those joints were 2 rubber O-rings. They sealed 5,000-degree combustion gases. One engineer had been worried for years. His name was Roger Boisjoly. Boisjoly was a senior mechanical engineer at Thiokol. In July 1985, he wrote, "The result could be a catastrophe of the highest order, loss of human life." He had observed O-ring erosion on previous missions. Each time it was labeled acceptable. On January 27, 1986, engineers reviewed the weather forecast. Launch temperature, 31 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest previous launch had been 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Boisjoly and others recommended not launching. During the teleconference, NASA's booster manager Lawrence Malloy reportedly said, "My God, Thiokol, when do you want me to launch?" "Next April." NASA wanted hard proof the shuttle would fail. Boisjoly later testified, "We were being asked to prove a negative. Engineering rarely offers absolute proof. It offers probability." Thiokol executives paused the meeting privately. When they returned, they reversed the recommendation. Launch approved. Boisjoly later said, "I felt like I was watching a slow-motion accident." 11:38 a.m. Ignition. Challenger rises. At 0.678 seconds after liftoff, a puff of black smoke appears at the right booster's lower field joint. No alarm sounds, because the system was not designed to detect that failure. The shuttle climbs. At 36 seconds, it passes through wind shear. At 59 seconds, flame becomes visible near the joint. In mission control, data appears normal. At 73 seconds, Commander Scobie hears, "Roger, go at throttle up." Seconds later, telemetry vanishes. A controller says, "Flight, we've got a major malfunction." Silence.
These are the spectators that were watching.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Velocity 2,257 feet per second. Altitude. Engines throttling up, 3 engines now, 104%. Challenger, go and throttle up. Roger, go and throttle up.
picture you were just seeing is Christy McCullough's parents watching in horror. These are the students.
The failure was not the engines, not pilot error, not sabotage. It was a rubber O-ring. The right booster's aft field joint, the lowest segment, had been exposed to overnight freezing temperatures. Rubber stiffens in cold. Instead of sealing instantly under pressure, it delayed. Hot gas escaped. Aluminum oxide residue temporarily sealed it. Wind shear reopened the gap. Flame burned into the external tank. Structural breakup followed. It was physics, not an explosion, but aerodynamic disintegration. Energy release equivalent to 200 to 300 tons of TNT. But the deeper cause was cultural. President Reagan formed the Rogers Commission. Physicist Richard Feynman performed a now-famous demonstration. He placed an O-ring sample into ice water, compressed it. It did not spring back. He stated, "For a successful technology, reality must take precedence over public relations, for nature cannot be fooled." The commission concluded, O-rings failed due to cold temperature. NASA's management structure suppressed engineering concerns. A culture of normalization of deviance had developed. Each small O-ring erosion had been accepted. Each anomaly reclassified as acceptable. Until one morning, it wasn't. No one intended harm. No one ignored a red flashing alarm. Every checklist was signed. Every procedure followed. But when risk slowly becomes familiar, it stops feeling like risk. And on January 28, 1986, nature corrected the paperwork. 7 lives, 1 decision, no broken rules. 7 people boarded Challenger believing in a system that had worked 24 times before. It failed on the 25th, not because someone ignored the rules, but because the rules slowly drifted away from reality. And in engineering, reality always has the final word. If this story teaches us anything, it's that small warnings are never small. This is not just history, it is a lesson. And lessons like this are written in consequence,